Here we go.
Hello.
Hello. Hello.
This is Laurie.
This is Peter.
And this is Hamilton.
And we are with Action Heroes LA, the subsidiary of Heroes Character Rental Service. Got it out. With our latest review of
Passing.
This is a film that was released directly to Netflix, starring Tessa Thompson, Ruth Negga. One of the this family has a bunch of people in there.
Roman Gabriel. He was a good passer.
No, he was. No. Anyway, it's directed by actress turned director Rebecca Hall. So, anybody, shall we say what it's about?
Well,
it's about.
I think you should maybe talk
it's
about it.
It's supposed to be about passing in color.
Passing complexion.
Black passing for white. Mm-hmm. But it was a movie, it was so interesting. It was about passing on all
types
levels.
All types of passing.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. So it stars Tessa Thompson and Ruth Negga are two and her last name is really hard to say and not screw it up, but are two very light-skinned black women with Ruth Negga's, and actually Tessa Thompson at the beginning of the movie is passing for white, but Ruth Negga has gone full blast passing for white. She's married to a white dude. She's living a white existence, and they run into each other. Dude. A prejudiced white dude too. They run into each other. They're old friends from childhood, and things get interesting from there.
Wow.
Yeah. So anybody want to go?
I think you should go, Laurie.
Oh, okay. Laurie, you guys were very obsessed with The Free Guy. I was obsessed with this movie last year. I watched it a couple times, and I watched videos of discussions about the movie. I just found it really fascinating. I actually found it's very slow, but because it's very subtle, it's very nuanced. So, the first time we watched it, I did doze off. And I think even the second time I've had it, but I'm like, I want to try to stay in here. And I think it's because how movies are made now and TV shows is we're so used to being stimulated. There's so much stimulant that when something is it takes its time to tell its story. It's hard for us to kind of keep track and stuff like that without the constant stimulation. Right. So, no, that's my side there.
See, I didn't feel that way because that movie had me from beginning to end.
Okay.
Because I could see, I because of the name, because of what we were kind of sold on for the movie, I went into the movie like that, but and looking for that,
right?
But it went in so many different directions.
Right.
I was just like, well, wait, and this, and oh, wait, and well, wait a minute, that couldn't be. It was just beautifully done movie, beautifully written, beautifully directed. Edited, whatever.
Lit, lighting was amazing.
Everything was just amazing on this movie.
I think I want to mention that, when we first watched this movie, I had issues with it because it didn't live up to my expectations of what I thought it was going to be about. But then I realized that's one of the things that's interesting about it. I thought it was just going to be a film about a black woman trying to pass in a white world. And that's only a small part of what happens in this film. And then a lot of the time they spend most of the rest of the film in Harlem. And so... Yeah, I thought
they would be spending more time, and the tension would come from her dealing with the white world and, barely getting away. But they don't do that. They totally... flip. Yeah, I expected that too. And I think I was a little disappointed at that as well, but there was so many other little interesting things going on, very subtle, little detailed, very detailed stuff that still, I was like, wait a minute, let me go back and look at that. What was going on there? What was that it really intrigued me, even though it was there was that level of disappointment. So going back and watching it without having that expectation, I enjoyed it a lot more.
Right.
And just,
Well, I think they went on in the passing of color, I think they went into a lot of detail because they went, for the thing of black passing as white and being married, and then even your mind starts to think, well, what about this? And then what happened with that? And then this, that, and the other. And then they also went to what was good about it, what was bad about it, where were the problems, where were the rewards, things like that. Then when they went into some of the other stuff with the passing, and it was all intertwined, and they didn't just pick out one thing and then go to another thing. Stuff. It's
all really subtle too. It doesn't hit you over the head with it, but it's just like it puts out these little details and stuff that I was like, okay, there's an attraction going on with these two characters. So they're passing. Yes. Are they passing us straight? There's there's a scene with Tessa Thompson and the woman that works as her maid, and there's this level of there's the issue with light skin and dark skinned people and the imbalance of that. She's passing as a happy marriage, passing, it was a lot of things. It was, I wanted to explore.
Way. Yes. So, love this movie.
Yeah. Anything else ahead?
I intended to watch it again, Laurie, but I haven't seen it a second time yet.
It's one that you can break down the details. I mean, I don't want to spoil the ending. Sorry about that. There's this kind of controversial. How one of the characters ends up dying at the end, and it's like, were they killed? Did they commit suicide? What? And it all just kind of like leaves it up to your, well, what do you think?
Were they killed? Was it a suicide? Was it an accident?
Was it an accident? They don't. Yeah, yes. You really can't. I had to rewatch that. Wait a minute. Rewind that back. But I think it's what's really fascinating. I mean, of course, I was naturally fascinated with this because look at my. We have family members that I've heard have passed. We've talked about in the past, like people like Anatole Broyard. And his the necessity of him to pass in order to kind of live the life he was meant to have as this intellectual and this writer and stuff that would have been denied to him because of his race.
I think that was part of my disappointment is that I had this idea of what I wanted to see, which is this idea of why people pass and how sometimes people pass for very good reasons. Like, they just get tired of explaining to other people that or who they are or whatever, and that there's
or you get pigeonholed into certain things that
and the way white society embraces people when they think they're white versus whatever, black or some other ethnicity, whatever. But I mean, for that time, for the time that this film takes place in. I thought all of that was gonna be part of this story, but it wasn't, and it doesn't matter because
that just leaves it open for somebody to explore that story.
That's true.
I wanted to bring up there. It's just really. Like, I've watched interviews with the director and the actors and stuff, just their take. I wanted to bring up because after watching this movie, and I wanted to see if anybody else, like black people watching this, a lot of them shut it off right away because it's like those two women look too black to be passing. But I think they're just too obviously black to me. Not to me, but that was the criticism. But the director, she intentionally cast women that looked that way.
I think that's the irony of passing, though, Laurie, is that a lot of times people who pass, other black people know they're black.
And that's the position she puts every viewer in. As like black people usually know when somebody is, and the rest of the world doesn't. So I think that's such a brilliant move to cast that because she's putting you in that. She's putting white people in that position now. It's like this is, where they wouldn't question before. And
Right.
she had some really interesting comments about like how this woman's husband, Ruth Nega's husband, couldn't tell she was black. It's like he had the luxury and privilege of not having to question it. It was
Right.
There was some just really fascinating stuff. And that her well, oh God, I can't think of her name now. Rebecca Hall. I mean, she picked this up because of her own family history. Her mother's family, her grandfather actually passed, and so that her mother didn't exactly know what she was. And her mother was a very successful opera singer. And you look at her, and she it's like, yeah, she's black. I could tell. And that's what Rebecca Hall is like. My mom looks like she doesn't look like all the other English women that I'm growing up with, and she looks like an African American woman to me. And she always questioned her own ethnic identity and her mom's ethnic identity. And when she got this book, she's like, everything opened up for her. So really fascinating background on this. Really great movie. I do want to mention it's shot in that 4x3 frame, like the old style television frame. In a way, it kind of evokes like movies of old were shot in that format.
Yes.
Before widescreen. And there's things about being confined. And I have to say, this is the third movie I've watched in the past year that has that framed. Justice League, the Zack Snyder Justice League did that for some reason, which I hate it because it's like you're doing a big action epic, fill the screen, dude.
Right.
Yes.
Give it,
Right.
give
Let
it
it
some
breathe.
scale.
Yes.
I don't understand. And I just watched another movie. I can't think of something called Lewis Wayne, which is on. You guys haven't watched, but and they did that as well. But it didn't. That was an interesting movie and an enjoyable one and stuff. And it didn't take me out of it for it to be framed in that way. So it's kind of. But I think it's interesting. A lot of us like now that we have widescreens everywhere, everybody wants to do that old format. Don't do it too much, y'all. This movie, it made sense. So anyway, any final words on Passing? It's on Netflix right now. I hope it gets some Oscar love and some nominations because I just
It's a wonderful, wonderful movie.
Yeah.
It's a really good movie. And I've seen that Little White Lie and all these other different little documentaries about people
you saw
passing
that.
and not passing.
I
and
haven't
stuff
seen
like
any
this.
too many. There's a lot of movies in the past, like Imitation of Life and things like that, about this topic that I haven't seen. I had a friend who always wanted, you ought to watch Imitation of Life.
Oh,
I never got
it's really
around to
good.
it. Sorry, Vicky. One of these days I'll watch it.
I think there's like
But I
two
did love
different
this one.
versions of that.
Yeah, there are.
film.
They're different. They're like 20 years apart too.
Yeah.
But anyway, I do hope this gets
But
some
this-
Oscar
yeah,
love.
it should.
Yeah,
It was
I
really
think
good.
this Green Knight were among my favorite movies last year. We haven't done our top movies last year either. But anyway, so that's Passing. Check it out on Netflix. Let us know what
Check
you
it
think
out.
in the comments. And we out.
We out.
We out.
We out like a. That's it. I wasn't gonna do it.
Like a turd in the wind.
Oh no, we out like a light-skinned black person passing for white. I don't know.
I thought you were gonna say
No,
flying
they're
out the
in.
window.
They're in. Like we out like what? I gotta
thought you were gonna
stop.
Say like
I
flying,
gotta
like
stop
a,
because it's
like a light skinned woman flying out a window.
it's
I don't
become
know.
my bazinga moment. It's like when somebody the catchphrase for like a TV character.
No, I like
and
those
then they
when you
like
say
start
them.
overusing it.
I'm not
No,
good at
ever
that
since
sort
you
of
guys
things.
said
I just
that,
sit
I
there and wait for you to
I gotta
come up
like
with
to
something.
let it naturally come to me instead of trying to force one. We out,
I like
y'all.
when you said
Bazinga.
we out like a